So I just came back from Mexico and it was Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is probably like the most famous Mexican holiday at this point in time in this era that we are in. They've had a lot of success in the movies with um, depicting this old, old Catholic inspired custom that's just done in their own kind of Mexican way, right? Decorating tombs of their loved ones, graveyards with food, banners, flowers, dancing and singing and depicting death in interesting forms I noticed while I was there. Little kids dressed up as old people dancing. There was the classic um, image of death in a cloak, skull, mask, and bearing a scythe, dancing along with these little kids dressed as old people. I brought something back. Um, it's a really beautifully sculpted skull made out of some kind of ceramic resin. You know, the images of flowers all over a sort of classical image of death being the skull. Bones are all that are left before they become dust. And flowers bloom and die so quickly. Life comes and goes so quick. So this is a memento mori, and you you really put this out on the grave to remember your own mortality. And you can keep it in your house as decor and look upon it whenever you're in doubt of what you're making with your life. Because you will die, and there's nothing worse than lying in bed and knowing you will die on your deathbed and having regrets. And it can go the other way around too. You feel you're so accomplished and you're so full in life, and maybe you need some humbling. Memento mori. Remember you will die. And I think that's what's at play with a celebration like Day of the Dead in Mexico. That there's more life in confronting death. You can be more alive. You become more alive. Like when I went to the neighborhood where they were having these celebrations around the cemetery in Mexico City. I saw children dressed up in Halloween costumes. And, I'll note that I went on All Saints Day, which is the day before Day of the Dead, right? So it's not as typical, let's say. It's it's a weekend long affair. It started with Halloween into November 2nd, which was the Day of the Dead. And so there were kids dressed up everywhere and lining up to the shops for treats. And you don't just get like one little candy, you get like a bag of candy from these shops who put care into these things. And there were lines. And this is just like some old neighborhood in Mexico City. They don't go to shopping malls or anything like that. And I'm sure shopping malls may participate in these things, but what I saw was something very, very local. I mean, lots of beer drinking in the cemetery itself too, and um, all the the stores were open and selling baked goods. There's a thing they call pan de muerto, which is translates to bread of the dead, quite literally. And every store seems to offer that. Even street vendors, they have it, and it's basically looks like a square donut with extra little blooms on it, like a bloom on it, but covered in sugar or chocolate. And it was great. I was I'm proud to say I ate about four of those things while I was there on that weekend. But I also celebrated a deepening in my relationship with my mother. So that's a personal thing of benefit. She lost her husband a few years ago, and we had what they call an ofrenda on her kitchen table, which included rum and his favorite foods, what he liked to snack on, and a photo. And you'll see like all elaborate ofrendas everywhere. The neighbor had like crazy amount of skulls and mannequins and several pictures of ancestors. But there's a reason and value in looking at what is gone and where you're at in life. It's not a morbid thing. I think our Western society, or maybe let's say our I blame the 20th century and all its advances to hiding death and putting it behind a curtain and putting relatives in hospice or old folks' homes where people don't want to be reminded about their mortality, and the obsession in this culture is particularly with youth and becoming more youthful. So take a breath into that. Where have you found difficulty in facing death? Would you put up a totem to death as a reminder for your mortality? Can you just breathe into your life and be with what is without fear of having regrets at the end of it all? Are you doing enough? I think that's the ultimate relationship any living person would have with death. Are you doing enough with this life? So when death comes, which it comes for all of us, you don't have regrets. And you know what? Invest in a totem. Remember, you will die. Does this help at all? Am I being helpful? Can I help you with any sorts of worries? Are you on your purpose? Do you fear some blocks that are keeping you from living your fullest life? Pretty soon I'll update all the descriptions in these videos to link to my homepage where you can see how you can work with me. Anything that might have been triggered by this conversation is welcome. All right. I hope to provide more helpful videos in this. Not always about death, but how we deal with life. All right. Please like and subscribe, and you'll get more of this content. Thank you.